XDC launches the world's first faith-based token. Does this tie them to the Vatican? VeriDAO has submitted their amicus brief for the Ripple versus SEC case. We break down what that means. Also, Binance joins a global payment think tank in the form of the OMFIF. Also, Meta chooses Polygon for NFT distribution, and is Hedera token service being used by BlackRock? Welcome to DHN. I'm your host, Wade Teamer. Clearly, we have a lot to talk about in this video, guys. You can see I got on the throwback DHN gear. All right. They wasn't with us shooting in the gym. You guys know the rest. Hey, let's not waste any time. Let's jump right over to the charts, guys, because we've had a little bit of pump action. But I also have a story that may explain why. Let's jump right into it. So, total crypto market cap sitting at about $1 trillion. We're up 3.2% over the last day. A lot of volume into the market too, but it's actually down slightly, 4.6%, still sitting at 104 billion in the last 24 hours. So there was less money coming in the last 24. However, we're still moving upward. So that means that money is coming, but they're buying. Okay. And like I said, I have an article that's going to highlight a little bit more insight, going to give us more insight on that. But BTC coming in at 20,007 earlier today. I saw it break 21,000. So markets are just looking green right now. Look, everything's good. Ethereum 1600, BNB 353. You guys know I was excited to see that this morning, up 7% in the last 24. XRP also up 7% in the last 24. Right now at 48 cents, but we can call this 49. Let's see. Dogecoin has began its correction. The hype is over. Cardano sitting pretty smooth at 41 cents. Solana, they got a buy signal there. That's interesting. Core market cap, but up 5%. And Matic up $1.13. Oh boy, man. I sometimes I feel like, look, there are so many projects in this space, you can't hit them all. Okay, but I've known for a long time that Polygon was a very strong project because I've seen their work firsthand. Okay, Polygon stretches so far that there are community organizations in my own hometown that are using Polygon. Okay, performance, you can't beat that. So since we're talking about Matic, let's jump into that story first. Instagram users will soon be able to mint and sell NFTs thanks to Polygon. This has been a relationship that has been in the workings for quite some time. I remember the first time that Meta announced that they would be first introducing NFTs to the platform. Shortly after that, that's when the whispers began that there were former Polygon employees working at Meta, and because of that, there would be some type of relationship being formed. This was about 6 to 7 months ago. Okay, so I say that just to show you the timelines, how they play out in this space. But now we have NFTs on Instagram. Meta announced this week's new feature during its Creator Week for 2022. It revealed that it had tapped Polygon to enable NFT minting and selling on Instagram. Now, they also just allowed for you to display your NFT as your profile picture on Instagram as well. They keep sending me the notification to sync my wallet. I don't quite trust it yet. However, now that they're on Polygon for sure, might be more inclined to do so. Social media platform will provide creators with an end-to-end toolkit and guide them through the whole process. As of now, the feature is only limited to a small group of US-based creators. So I must be very significant. Haha, cool. But another thing to take away from this, guys, is the fact that it won't just be Facebook and Instagram. We already see what's happening on Twitter. And if you don't think YouTube is coming right behind everyone, yeah. Yes, they are. They held, as a matter of fact, at VidCon this year, there was a whole conference about the future of monetization on YouTube, and it will include NFTs. So that's going to be interesting. That might be when I drop my official DHN NFT. So let's jump forward to our next story, though, guys. I want to talk about stablecoins. We've been talking a lot about it recently. We know global stablecoin arrangements coming down from the G20. And it's interesting, just like I said, we have been getting a lot of attention around stablecoins. They've been the topic of discussion. There's an article that I read a few minutes ago that talked about how that stablecoin timeline, now we're looking at January of 2023. That's when everything is going to start getting kicked up again. But as far as short term, as far as right now, the reason why the markets are up, very interesting story here. Stablecoin exchange inflows hits all-time high, which means the average inflow is now at an all-time high, and why this could be bullish for Bitcoin. Now, check this out. This was posted 22 hours ago. Okay, so a full day ago, right? And this particular publication probably got it a few hours late. So this information comes out, and look at where the market is, right? Now, here's the thing that's got me so interested is that this has only happened a couple times before in the last 2 years. We're going to jump right down to this chart that they provide us. This data is given to us thanks to Crypto Quant. You can follow them on Twitter. It's a very, very good account. They always kick out information about the market when it comes to analytics, data, things like that. But okay. So we're jumping right to this chart. Now it says, here's a chart that shows the trend in the stablecoin exchange inflow average, as well as the corresponding Bitcoin prices over the last couple of years. As you can see, the first box takes us all the way back to May of 2021 up until July, August. Okay, so that, as you can see, increased stablecoin volume, price began to move up. All right. Same thing were to happen when the stablecoin volume decreases. You can see that the price comes down. We've been pretty much quiet throughout 2022, and you can see not a lot of stablecoin volume in the market. However, recently, earlier this year, around the same time frame, as a matter of fact, May through August, we did get some pretty decent action there. I think that was the last time we saw a $30,000 Bitcoin, was the summer. So as you can see, the numbers don't lie. Now, here's the thing. We're in October now, and you can see this spike. All right. This is the stablecoin inflow to spot exchanges all-time high. That is significantly higher than what it was earlier this year and summer of last year. So just judging off the data, guys, we may be in for a short-term pump, a Thanksgiving pump. That's what I'm going to call it. A Thanksgiving pump. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to last, but the data is suggesting that it could at least carry us throughout November. Okay. I can expect that. I can be okay with that. That won't surprise me if we just maintain some decent price action. Let's say we do 26 before the end of November, 26,000 Bitcoin. That's probably going to bring Ethereum to like 18. BNB might see 425. We might see a 50 to 55 cent XRP at that point. Cardano, same story. So 15 to 20 cent. Well, we'll say 15 because Stellar is sitting at 10 right now. So $25,000 Bitcoin, Stellar might break 15 cents. It's going to be a good month. If that's the case. Might want to put in a couple buys right now, but that's just what the data is suggesting. And I just find the correlation to be so spot on that it's kind of hard to dispute, my opinion. So let's jump forward, guys, because we got, like I said, we got a lot to talk about, and I really want to get to this XDC story and the Hedera BlackRock story. Very interesting. But let's jump over and talk about Binance partnering with the OMFIF. Now, a lot of people probably do not know who this organization is, but if you're holding Algorand, you are very familiar with the Digital Monetary Institute. That is who the OMFIF is. That's who they represent. And now Binance has partnered with them in order to do the research for the future of payments, their future of payments report. This was the same report that Algorand, Swift, and MasterCard was a part of, I want to say early 2021. We have a video about it. Feel free to check that out. But details go as follows. Binance has formed a partnership with the Digital Monetary Institute of the official monetary and financial institutions Forum, as it receives an opportunity to provide insight on the global think tank's annual report on the future of payments. The OMFIF has positioned itself as one of the most reliable independent think tanks globally, providing a platform for engagement from the public and private entities in central banking, public investment, and private investment. This partnership will simply see Binance's thought leaders, their think tanks, merging with the OMFIF think tanks. This is so big because a few months ago, Binance was not in the payments and not in the cross-border payment conversation. Nowhere near it. We were just dealing with centralized exchange, trying to get regulated in different countries. Them partnering with the OMIF and the Digital Monetary Institute, ladies and gentlemen, that's big, okay? I'm telling you, that's big because just like the report illustrates, it's going to be centered around the future of payments. So Binance is having these types of conversations, and additionally, MasterCard and Binance just partnered for a new integration, okay? Still getting the details on that, but Binance is moving into cross-border payments, and in my opinion, they got the infrastructure to do so, okay? They keep in mind, keep this in two things, okay? Two things. One, the majority of stablecoin volume for Tether and USDC runs through Binance, okay? Secondly, the reason why Binance, okay, is going to catch people off guard is because of how media works. Point blank, period. They don't want it to be compared to Ethereum because they know that it outperforms Ethereum. I don't know how else to put it. Politics, man. You can't beat that. But if you look beneath all of those lines, if you look beneath the surface, ladies and gentlemen, you can see it's about the performance. No, let's move over to our next story, guys. We're talking Very DAO. They are proud to announce their Amicus brief, and so am I, okay? So, like I promised, I was going to do continued updates on this Very DAO, Veritasium Coinbase situation. As a matter of fact, Coinbase has until the end of this month to respond to Veritasium in regards to the infringement. This situation with Very DAO is them basically inputting their story of what they did with the SEC into the discussion of the SEC versus Ripple case. Now, my thing about this is the fact that it will explicitly show that the SEC can't handle cases properly, or they choose to do it in a manner that suits them. Okay. Now, you can see here, I love the tweet that they provided, guys, is that the Very DAO hopes to bring primary firsthand information to the court so XRP token holders don't suffer the same plight as Very holders. Very true, guys. They believe that their support of Ripple is unique because it is the only filing representing a group of digital asset holders who have experienced the overreach of the SEC firsthand. That's the key right there, guys. That's the strength, okay? And I had a tweet from Reggie here pulled up too, but it may take me an extra second to find it. But simply put, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I've retweeted it. We can join the conversation on there. This Amicus, when compared to the rest of them, is the one that has the weight on it, okay? It's the one that provides evidence that explicitly details that the SEC may not be the best ones qualified to regulate this industry. The other Amicus briefs from iRemit, a Ripple partner, from Coinbase, there was a third one too. There's been a total of 12 so far. There's been plenty, but the majority of them have just been companies that Ripple already works with. So if you want to be honest with it, and you know, if you break it down in courtroom thinking here, the Amicus briefs that come from Ripple partners and associates, that kind of course, is going to support Ripple, yes, but in a judge's eyes, it almost appears as if Ripple brought them in order to verify their case. The strength of Very DAO entering the SEC versus Ripple case is that they're not associated with either party. However, they represent the exact same thing that's going on right now. So if the judge looks at the amicus brief from VeriDAO and determines that the SEC does not have the best history with dealing with digital assets, it's going to sway her decision. Okay. And then here's another thing with these 12 amicus briefs now in play, this pushes this case back even further. So there's that. Now, let's move on, guys. We got to talk about XDC. Now, this one is very interesting. Okay, very interesting. XDC Network welcomes Crescite following the launch of the world's first faith-based token. Now, I read into this yesterday morning, short paragraph, okay? Pretty much, Crescite Limited is an affiliate of the Crescite Innovation Corporation. They're offering the world's first faith-based token. But it's when we get to the information about Crescite itself, that's when things got exciting, okay? So in a quote from them, they state that XDC provides a blockchain platform to establish the United States as the leader in international trade technology. +1. The regulatory pathway forward for blockchain in America is through the significant enhancement of trade revenue with efficient technology. This is coming from the CEO of Crescite, Ellie Cullen. He continues, we feel Washington, D.C. could work with XDC and organizations such as Crescite to provide pathways to economic prosperity for low-income communities and increase economic output nationwide through trade. So not only are they tapping into the financial inclusion side of everything, but they're also bringing in global trade. So this Crescite Corporation, never heard of them up until now. So it had me curious, right? Let me show you what I found. So Crescite, not too long ago, partnered with Fordham University, okay? And if you don't know, Fordham is one of the Jesuit schools. They're a very religion-based focused institution. However, and not really, I'm not trying to make this a political or religious segment, but there's a point I want to make. And once I do, it's going to all make sense. Fordham, very prestigious university when it comes to religion, right? Crescite partners with this university for NFT collection monetization. Crescent Innovation Corporation was also named to the Council for Inclusive Capitalism with the Vatican, which includes global CEO leadership. This happened about a week before the relationship with Fordham University. So of course, that made me want to go and do a Google search on the Council for Inclusive, what did they call it? Capitalism. Inclusive capitalism, right? So first off, here's their website, Council for Inclusive, whoop-de-whoop. You got stewards, you got allies, you got some very big organizations here, C-level positions all throughout, right? But that's not where the juice is, okay? The juice is when this alliance was first formed. That takes us back to December 8th of 2020. The Council for Inclusive Capitalism with the Vatican, a new alliance of global business leaders, launches today in 2020. They did a lot in 2020. Now, this council is led by a core group of global leaders known as Guardians for Inclusive Capitalism, who meet annually with Pope Francis and Cardinal Turkson. These leaders represent more than 10.5 trillion in assets under management, companies with over 2.1 trillion of market capitalization, and 200 million workers in over 163 countries. The organization challenges businesses and investment leaders of all sizes to embrace the council's guiding principles and make public commitments to act on them. These collective actions are intended to lead the systemic change by making capitalism a greater force for inclusivity and sustainability. Keywords there: financial inclusion, sustainability. It gets even deeper, guys, because they also have a list of who were initially involved, okay? And this is about as far as I got, but this list still just has me thinking. We got members from MasterCard, Alliance, Salesforce, DuPont, the Prime Minister, United Nations, Special Envoy for Climate Action and Finance, EY, TIAA, Merrick, right? The medical company, Estee Lauder companies, Calipers, Johnson & Johnson, It's the first time I've ever seen Johnson & Johnson associated with blockchain anything. And I bet now if I go and look, would not be surprised to see Johnson & Johnson developing something behind the scenes. Remember, Walmart had Dragon Chain in development all the way back in 2018. 2018. Look that up. Interesting read. But the biggest name on this list, guys, and the one that really shook me, Lady Lynn Forrester D. Rothschild, founder and managing partner of Inclusive Capital Partners. So, putting this all together, guys, XDC just welcomed in the entire legacy, like, community. Okay, from the Vatican. Now, there of course needs to be more connections made, but you have, and here's what's the main reason why this is getting to me so much is because religion may not be the center of attention right now when it comes to younger generations. However, the people that are still running this planet, they follow that religion very closely. It is still a huge part of how they do what they do. So to see XDC getting into this field, into this energy signature, it's going to be some good things. It's going to be some very good things. Gonna definitely update, follow up on this if I see anything else happening. If the Vatican all of a sudden decides to start announcing, they start speaking more technology driven and NFTs and things like that. And as a matter of fact, there is a link. I shared this with the Diamond Hustle members. I've had to remember that. But okay, I'll tell you this. If you go to this article right here, okay, the one from December 8th, I'll leave a link to this article. And what you have to do is go over to, you go into the paragraph that I read through with all the numbers, 10.5 trillion assets under management, 2.1 trillion of market cap. And the last sentence, it says, watch a video of the Guardians discussing the council's mission here. This will take you to a private, unlisted YouTube video. I'm going to let you have fun with that on your own. All right. So let's jump forward, guys, and talk Hedera. This one just got the word about this literally before I hit record. Okay. Shout out to the Diamond Hustle Network on Twitter. We out here connected. I love it. Circle has begun moving their reserves for its permissioned Hedera token service USDC CBDC interoperable stablecoin into a dedicated fund set up by BlackRock and registered with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The ultimate goal is for BlackRock to apply in time to get Circle's reserves funds into the Federal Reserve's reverse repo program. Now, we already know that Circle and BlackRock, they've had a very interesting relationship this year, ever since going back to the summer when they announced that BlackRock would be supporting the reserves of USDC, essentially, right? This one right here is coming from Dylan Brady, and it's interesting because this first sentence, Circle has begun moving the reserves for its permissioned Hedera token service USDC stablecoin. That is not seen anywhere else as of yet. CoinDesk reported on the story. Circle begins putting reserves into new BlackRock fund. Ledger Insights, my favorite publication, they reported on the story. They did not mention Hedera Hashgraph. So it's interesting to me because Hedera token service could be used. I'm not disputing that at all. At the same time, you also have Algorand state proofs. Okay, you also have Stellar Lumen Sora brand, right? The smart contract functionality. Tron has a stablecoin, so they don't need it. But mainly, most importantly, would be you have Hedera, you have Stellar, and you have Algorand, who has the capability to do this. And if you take this and you add on the fact that the New York Fed is exploring DLT for wholesale CBDC settlement on the Forex markets, they're essentially tokenizing the trade instruments, right? What does Hedera specialize in? Tokenization. You can also tokenize on Stellar and you can tokenize on Algorand. So it's this one, definitely want to see how this turns out, okay? But in the event, well, I'm not even going to say in the event because things are happening now. Circle and BlackRock, more importantly, BlackRock is positioning Circle to be here for the long haul. It's going to make USDC the representative for US interests because they got to compete with Tether. And that's going to be another thing that's probably going to make it difficult for Binance to be fully accepted over here, is because of all the Tether that they are facilitating. In addition to that, they have their own stablecoin, which is already regulated in the US. So that's interesting too. But I really think that USDC, especially through their relationships with BlackRock, are going to be the chosen one. That's just how it's going to be at some point. And I think this is when we'll get this global stablecoin arrangements. That's why they're calling it that. Sometime in 2023, we're going to get a separation in the sense where USDC will be more applicable, used more, and accepted more in certain places than Tether will be, and vice versa, right? That's when we'll start to see the lines really divide, and we'll really start to see a separation in market cap for all the stable coins, really, but the top three. We'll really start to see things shake up between those three. So interesting stuff going on in the space. I told you we had a lot to talk about in this video, guys. Let me just double check, make sure that I got everything. All right. Let me just jump over here and jump over here to twit. First, let me share this since we're here. I can find that tweet from Reggie. Yeah, because I liked it. So, yes, right here. Tweet I mentioned earlier from Reggie. I'm assuming this was the desired effect. Instead of law and hypotheses, the court is presented with both historical and ongoing facts. The brief should not only stand out to the judge, it should act as a blueprint for what not to allow the SEC to do. And P.S., I am not a VeriDAO member. Again, the VeriDAO entrance into this Ripple SEC case should close it. It should close the book. That's honestly why I haven't been talking about XRP recently, guys, because ever since VeriDAO put their brief into the situation, into the discussion, nobody has said nothing. But when Coinbase stepped up, knowing that Coinbase is being sued for patent infringement, everybody's all on the... Let me not get upset. Okay. But you guys get what I'm saying here. This is the nail in the coffin because it shows explicit misconduct. Okay. I've been in enough courtrooms to know that if your hand is caught in the cookie jar, you're going to jail. Period. Okay. Again, it's crypto. You gotta love it. With that, though, that's all I got for you in this one, guys. If you found value, of course, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Don't forget about your DHN Crypto Journal for 2023. There's a lot of tokens in this space that you need to learn about. It's the perfect tool for you. And if you're interested in how Diamond Hustle members get access to exclusive crypto content that you won't see anywhere else on YouTube, just click the join button under this video to learn more. And now, to all my digital hustlers worldwide, I want you to have a great weekend, have a prosperous weekend, and most importantly, let them know that if the money is digital, so is the hustle. I'll see y'all in the next video.